Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and yesterday, on the 27th, exactly 1 year after the destruction of the real Antonov 225, Microsoft have released their version for Microsoft Flight Simulator. The airplane is built by the same developers who have developed the Airbus A310, and so we know already what to expect. In this video, I'm going to take you on a walk around the plane, as well as the first look inside the cockpit. But the very first and most important thing to mention over here is that all the proceedings from buying this plane, which retails at a price of $19.99 at the marketplace, is going to go to Antonov for rebuilding the real-life Antonov 225, which the Russians have destroyed when they attacked Kiev. So, let's have a look around this airplane. The plane comes with a couple different liveries, but I'm going to use the standard livery, which is the livery bearing the Ukrainian flag. Now, the outside model comes at quite a level of detail, as we can see over here. And overall, this is an impressive airplane to look at. Now, if we only have a look at the main landing gear over here, then just count the number of tires that we have on this airplane and you immediately know you're up to something special. Now, talking about something special, the AN225 is driven by 6 engines, and it needs those in order to lift its maximum payload of 255 tons into the air. Now, if we compare that to Western equivalents like the 777 or the 747 freighters, they go almost only half of it. So the 747 freighter is able to lift something in the region around 140 tons, while this airplane can do 255. Note that it is a long-haul airplane. However, depending on the weight of your payload, the maximum range is going to vary significantly. So let's talk about a couple of numbers while we continue our walk around over here. And the most important thing that we are going to notice when we look at the airframe's limits over here is that the maximum takeoff weight is an incredible 640 metric tons, or in pounds, that is 1,410,958 pounds of takeoff weight in the AN225. Now, the maximum landing weight is 90 tons below that at 550 tons, and the maximum zero fuel weight comes at 543.5 tons. So that maximum zero fuel weight is in the region of the A380's maximum takeoff weight. The empty weight of the plane is 285 tons, so the empty weight of this plane is higher than, for example, the max takeoff weight of an Airbus A330, and the maximum payload is in the region around 255 tons. Now, if we take that into account, then if we do a little bit of mathematics, we will quickly figure out that if we take the empty weight of 285 and add the 255 tons of maximum payload, then we very quickly end up close to the maximum zero fuel weight already, and that enables us to carry only 100 tons of fuel, which limits the range of the airplane. So the empty range is somewhere in the region of about 15,000 kilometers, while at maximum payload the range is only about 4,000 kilometers. Now, you may be wondering, why am I talking kilometers here? Well, this being an originally Soviet-built plane, keep in mind the plane was built in order to carry the Russian spaceship Buran, which is the reason why we find these fittings up here on the top of the plane. This is basically where the, Russian space shuttle would have been mounted on the airplane, and this is overall what the plane was designed for. Now, it only actually carried the Buran once, as far as I'm aware, and after that it never did so again, because the Buran basically never flew again. But after the end of the Soviet Union, Antonov Airlines has acquired this plane and has since been using it as a cargo transporter. It is the world's largest airplane, Now, let's go ahead and head inside and actually check out the cockpit of the AN225. Now, you will notice that a lot of the readings we find in this airplane are actually in Cyrillic. And, for example, this becomes quite evident looking at the flight engineers panel over here. Now, there is an option to switch between English and Cyrillic languages. However, that only covers the autopilot control panel. The rest of the panel is going to remain in Cyrillic letters. So you can see I've installed that option over here, and now we are getting an English capture of the autopilot up here. However, what remains is we still have our speed in kilometers an hour, the altitude in meters, our vertical speed target is in meters per second. This reflects on the instruments as well. We have our airspeed indicator in kilometers an hour, and in the middle we have the Mach number. And our altimeter, our primary altimeter, is in meters and in millibar. But we have some standby instruments up here, which are going to be in feet, and the standby instrument display is actually in knots and feet as well. The electronic flight bag, however, provides us some great aid in that we have the unit converters over here, which give us an easy reference in the units that we are used to from aviation, like knots, pounds if you're American, or altimeter conversion in inches, hectopascals, inches millibar and in hectopascals. So, looking around the cockpit of the AN225, we find that the pilot and co-pilot station are actually rather simplistic once you are accustomed to it. The overhead panel basically is communications and warning systems only, together with a couple power switches, of which you are going to find plenty in this plane, and the lights. And from there on we have our engine management in the middle, and then going down, of course, we have our 6 beautiful thrust levers on this airplane. And we have an even more beautiful reverse thrust lever on this airplane, but that is going to be for a separate video. But this is what the reverse thrust lever would look like. Okay, so going around a tour of the cockpit, we have the flight engineer station, actually 2 of them. Now on the left side we have the hydraulics, fuel, engines, electrics, APU, engine. And then on the other hand side we have the navigator station. So this airplane is actually flown by a 6-man crew. Up here we have the navigator doing all the navigation work for us. And then on the leftmost side we have our radio operator, which is doing the radios. Now it was actually not uncommon, at least in the early days when this plane flew, to have a crew that would exclusively speak Ukrainian or Russian language, and only the radio operator would actually speak English and be able to communicate with the pilots what the air traffic controllers want them to do. Now, let's go forward and have a look into the living spaces of the plane. I'm saying living spaces here because it was typical for the crews to stay on board the plane for weeks at a time and actually live on board the AN225. So these are the living spaces that we have, and we even have a little kitchen up here in the back. Now, that is pretty much the modeled area. We can unfortunately not go through the curtain over here, but that is quite the modeled area of this airplane. Now, I'm going to do a separate series of tutorial videos for how to fly the airplane, so stay tuned for those. And I hope that you have found this one interesting. Once again, the plane retails at a price of $19.99, is built by the same developers as the Airbus A310 is, and all the proceedings from buying this airplane are going to go straight to Antonov to rebuild the real airplane that the Russians blew up. Now, thank you very much for watching. I hope you found this one interesting, and if you did, then do leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this plane. Thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to welcome you all again flying this airplane on the channel very soon. And until then, wish you a very nice time trying to learn it already. Thank you very much, and see you all again very soon.